This is Let's Talk Teens, a parenting podcast sharing tips on raising amazing teenagers. We are both certified life coaches that have worked with teenagers as coaches, mentors, and teachers. We are sharing what we have found to work best when dealing with teens and tough issues.
This is Let's Talk Teens with Abbi and Cheree, episode 90, house comparisons and how I help my teen.
Okay, this topic came up because randomly my husband and I were chatting because we knew each other in high school. I like to rewrite history and pretend that we were high school sweethearts, which we were not, but we were really good buddies in high school. And we went to each other's houses, right? And we were kind of chatting about that because now it's ironic because we're married and we see our in-laws all the time. But he was saying that he would always do a house comparison, and I was like, I would too. And then the more people we've talked to, it seems to be a very common experience that as a youth, when you would go to somebody's house for the first time, you are comparing. You're like, how does this compare to my house? And it shows you a lot about them, right? Do they have a lot of money, a little money, in between, right? What's their family like? All those experiences of going to somebody's house can be very real, and your teen can have lots of thoughts and feelings around this, whether they feel like they have a big house or a small house, or if they want people over, or if they don't want people over. And so I want to talk about this and how we as parents, regardless of the size of our house or the size of our income, or if we're both working, or if I can stay home as a mom, all those things, right? That I feel like as a parent can weigh really heavy on us, how we can make the best situation possible for our teens.
Oh, this is such a real thing. And not just even like sizes of houses, but also just thinking about with my teens when they were my kids when they were teens is like where was the fun house and where was
Yes.
the cool parent house? And I so this topic is going to be so good for everyone.
Yeah, well, and regardless of your size of house, income, whether you have a big backyard, small backyard, whether you have the pool, right? All these things are things to think about as a parent because even now, so my aunt has a pool and we hang out at her house all the time. And I've noticed that all the neighborhood kids hang out at her house, right? So there's sometimes some natural things that can make your house the hangout house. But like you were saying, Cheree, there's so many things that I can do intentionally. I don't have a pool, but I want my house to be where my kids want to hang out. And so I want to make sure it's nice and relatively clean. Now, I say that like relatively very intentionally because our houses do not need to be spotless. If anything, that can actually deter your teens from
Mhm.
wanting to hang out at your house because they feel like they can't sit on the couch or their friends can't just come and chill. And I remember having friends like that where their house was very proper and you did not just go sit on their couch or eat their food out of their cupboard, right? And it kind of made you feel more tense at their house, right? Now they had a beautiful, wonderful, clean house, but it wasn't where we wanted to hang out because we were so worried. What if I break something? What if I, spill something on the carpet? So having a relatively clean house that our youth can navigate it, they feel like they can bring people over, and having it be presentable in that way of, can we come in and have a snack? Can we come in and put our books down, right? And having maybe some of those intentionalities behind our home of like, yes, when my kids' friends come over, I pull out the snack box or I do these things to let them know that they're welcome. That can be so huge for making it so that your youth wants to bring people over to your house
You know what I noticed that was the biggest draw is food.
every time.
Food wins, like food, treats, pizza, even like a veggie tray or a fruit tray, like anything that's out that they're like, I want, like I feel welcome to eat, and there's food available. That it doesn't. I personally think that matters more than the size of house you have, is that you have
Yes.
food available for those teams. So if you want them at your house, food.
And I have had parents, and I relate to this too. They're like, well, my my son's friends will like eat me out of my house, right? And
Uh-huh.
ideally, in this most perfect world, we'd be like, oh, I don't care. I'll just refill the cupboard, right? But sometimes in an economy like this, we got to be intentional about that. And so maybe you buy things that you're like, they can eat all of this and I don't even care, right? Or I have a lot of this on hand. Or I think of things like right now, my kids are so into popcorn. we can pop popcorn
Yeah.
all day. And that is
Yeah.
like a big bulk food and they can eat that. So getting creative with whatever budget, resources, things that you have, whether you want that to be here's some carrots, but food is a way of welcoming youth into our home. And if you think about it culturally, that's how we welcome people into our homes. We say, come share a meal with me.
Mhm.
That's how we build friendships. And so make that a part of your family culture and having your home be presentable in that way. I think this is really on my brain. I through a kind of funny situation, my mom was on a vacation and you know how sometimes vacations they'll have like a box that people have left stuff? Well, somebody had left a book. It's Jeanette McCurdy's I'm Glad My Mom Died, which is a horrible title. But I was really interested in that book because I grew up watching iCarly. And I'm not necessarily saying I recommend it. It's a little bit heavier, but she does a great job writing about her life and her mom and her craziness. But something that really stood out to me is she grew up in a hoarder house and she never could have people over. And like hers was extreme in that she was sleeping on a mat in the living room because their bedrooms, there was stuff on it. But how damaging that is to a youth and to an adult, even to feel like I could never have people come over. I could never have them see what my room looks like or that I sleep on a mat in the living room. Like, and I don't think anybody in the whole world listening to our podcast has those problems because typically you are not listening to a podcast if you have those kind of problems. But just thinking about little things like that of is there a place for my youth to hang out? Is there food? Is there a place that is like clean and presentable? And I totally get I am drowning in little kids right now. My house is hardly ever clean, but it is like people could come over and I could move the baby toys. Do you know what I mean? So just with that extreme example in my mind from that book that I read, we want to do kind of a check and be like, is does my youth ever feel embarrassed to bring people home because of maybe some of the ways that I've kept the house or haven't kept the house?
I love all these things. I would add to it, like the check is just how do I treat my kids' friends when they come over? Do they feel welcome? And I've heard a lot of adults say this, and then I also hear teens say this, is adults are intimidated by teenagers, and
Yeah.
teenagers are
Oh,
intimidated
yeah,
by
Cheree.
adults. Yeah. So, I think sometimes parents, it's not that they don't want their teens there. They just don't know how to talk to them or they're kind of intimidated by them. And so they're standoffish or they kind of just go do their own thing. And, our insecurities as adults comes out. But I think it's so good to do that check and be like, okay, like, am I secure enough with myself that I can be friendly and welcoming to my kids' friends? That I can have conversations with them, even though I'm going to feel a little nervous and a little insecure and a little like uncomfortable sometimes because I don't know their lingo and I don't know how to talk to them. What teens really want is just to feel seen and welcomed because they're going to feel the vibe and they might misread it of like, oh, your parents don't like me, so I'm not coming
Mm-hmm.
over. And so I think that's another area where I'd really do a check-in is do my teens, do they feel like they can bring their friends and do their friends know that I like them and that I want them there? Do they, and it could be as simple as like, oh my gosh, we're so glad you're here. Please help make yourself at home. Like even just saying those little things.
Here's
You
the
don't even have,
cupboard. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Or like, oh, we love it when you come, or oh my gosh, we've missed you. We're so glad you came. And it's just little phrases. You don't even have to get into a deep conversation, but they know that they're welcome and they know that you see them and you know that they know that you're okay with them being there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Cherie, you hit that on the head because the last thing I wanted to say in this is we can't always control the size of our house. And I get as adults, you're like, well, you can buy a house. Well, you know what? There's so many factors of that. And also, I am not an advocate of, well, we should buy a big house for our youth, right? What? So we can't control that, but we can control the temperature in our home. And do they feel loved? And oh, those phrases that you said are just gold of, I'm so glad you're here. Or, oh, we love it when you come over. Those are just so welcoming. It helps me put down my guard because I'm nervous when I go to another woman's house that I'm like just trying to be friends with as an adult, right? And
Mhm.
so when you feel seen, you feel like, oh, they love it when I'm here. You are now making your home a place that your youth are going to want to bring their friends. And I'm telling you, you're going to want that because you want to be in the know of who's in my child's life. What are they doing, right? And we can kind of keep a better pulse on that. So, controlling that temperature and those feelings in your house. And Cheree, you hit it right on the head. I have to pick up carpool for my kids, and there are some junior high kids in there that, they're my neighborhood kids. I love them. They don't say two words to me. And so every day I'm like, okay, I'm going to gear up. I'm going to say hello to them, right? And just know that they're going to ignore me, right? Or I'm going to say,
Yeah.
how was school today? And it feels so awkward, but I'm trying my best as an adult. And I think sometimes we don't realize it is hard to be like, hello, teenagers, welcome to my house, right? Like it can feel awkward and funny. We can feel like Willy Wonka when he's all like, hello, Starshine. The earth says hello. And that's okay. Like I'm learning to embrace that, especially as I drive this carpool and these, junior hires are like, oh, Sister Winslow's crazy, right? But it's important that they know, like, I am so glad to drive you here. I am so glad that you're at my house. Um, and that's going to make just the whole visit a more pleasant experience. So really think about what temperature am I creating in my home and do my youth want to bring over their friends?
Oh, so good. Yeah, teenagers, man, they can really give us adults a self-esteem hit. It's just true. But I think it's true what you said. And one thing I would just simply just add to that is learn their names. Learn
Mm,
their names. So even if all you say is, hi, Gavin, or hi, Hunter, or hi, Brienne, like you're just saying you're saying their names. And I think that's so good.
I love that. So hopefully you have some gold nuggets to take away from this. Um, and that you can, just be aware of that. And I'll end with this story so that you're like, oh, we're all in this together. The other day, my little boy says to me, Mom, when are we going to buy a rich car? We we need a rich car. And, instead of being like, oh, that is so rude, or don't say something like that. I was like, you are so right. I want a rich car really bad. Right. And then I was like, what kind of car should we buy? Right. Because totally, I drive a beater. And guess what? Actually, Sheree, I've accepted it and I love it because yesterday my kids ran their bike into the cart and I didn't
And it's
even care.
okay.
I didn't even care. No, I was like, sweet.
They
Right.
can spill their juice and you're like, not a problem.
But guess what? My little guy, who is 6, has already picked up. Oh, my mom doesn't drive as nice of a car as the other moms. And guess what? It didn't hurt my feelings. So don't let it hurt your feelings if your youth's like, well, this friend has a bigger house. I think it's powerful to teach your youth there's always going to be a friend that has a bigger house than you. There's always going to be a friend that has a rich car and you don't have a rich car, right? But I don't let it offend me. I talked to my boy. I said, "Oh, what car do you think we should buy one day? I want a rich car too." Like just having those conversations, I think can really unlock that. So when your teen maybe throws you that curveball of if you're like, "Hey, bring your friends over," and they're like, "Well, we don't have room," or "We'll go to Sarah's house. She has a bigger house." Don't let that throw you. Like that is kind of part of what this narrative's going to be. But when they do bring them over, make that climate really warm. So, wishing you the best of luck. I hope you're all in rich cars and rich houses. and one day I'll get to that level of a rich car. Thank you for listening to Let's Talk Teens with Cheree Murdock and Abbi Winslow. If you are looking for more tips to help your teenager, here's where you can find us. You can find Cheree Murdock on Instagram at Cheree Murdock Coaching or on her website, ChereeMurdock.com. You can find me, Abbi, on Instagram as Abbi Winslow or on my website, AbbiWinslow.com. Please rate and review our podcast and share with a fellow parent. Thanks for listening.